Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at Shadow Darmanitan in the Open Great League. This Pokemon is one of the Pokemon with the highest attack stat, and now we have buffed Incinerate and the Shadow bonus on it. So today we're gonna take a look at a very squishy Pokemon that does insane amounts of damage. And honestly, like basically any charge move you throw with this Pokemon, even if it's against like something like a Whiscash, a Rock Slide, that's around like 50%. This Pokemon is so insanely squishy, but so insanely high in attack, it is absolutely wild. We're gonna see it here today as well. We had some very interesting sweeps as well coming up, which is going to be kind of great. But of course, it's not going to be the best Pokemon ever. It is a very squishy Pokemon. It is not something that you should expect to go crazy positive with either, but it's a fun Pokemon to use. And that's all about it here. I feel like we are still in the first month of the season. Why would you try hard if you can have some fun, right? Like, I feel like sometimes people take it a little bit too serious with their Poliwrath, for example. Here, we can still try to go for an overheat just to see how much damage we can do, but you see already how much damage Counter does against us. But sadly, the opponent is not really giving us any, I don't know, like, I would have liked to see the damage there. Would have been really cool. But maybe in the next game you're going to have a little bit of a better matchup. We're going to have here the matchup against the Serperior. Serperior would be a great matchup for our Darmanitan in the back, but we don't have it yet, so hopefully we can align it later on. By the way, for me, this Pokemon like Darmanitan was so difficult to find. I had to walk 20,000 steps in order to actually find one of the grunts that had this Pokemon. For my first 10,000 steps, I didn't even see a single fire grunt, and I found like 3 in a row, which were all the Chimchar as a starter, which was great for me. And so like 20,000 steps later, I was able to finally get a Darmanitan, which is, like, honestly, it was wild. It was definitely something where I was actually just giving up at this point, but was lucky to get it basically on my way back home. So at least we were able to showcase it here, but it was very difficult to get them. So if you appreciate the effort, feel free to leave a like and subscribe if you have not already. Still would really appreciate if we could hit the 75,000 very soon. It would be kind of nice. Still aiming for the 100,000 eventually. But here we're gonna see that we can now align our perfect Darmanitan against the opponent's Serperior. It's going to be lovely. Let's take a look at this. Look at the damage output. Would two-shot them, they swap out into their Skeledirge. Let's say goodbye to the Skeledirge. Rock Slide coming through. Does not matter if you're bulky or not. Goodbye there. Super effective. And one more fast move. All it takes. Goodbye there. Moving on, we're going to have a Skarmory in the lead. This would be a lovely for our Darmanitan, but we're going to swap into our Annihilate, and honestly, I think they made a crucial mistake here, as we can actually reach the Shadow Ball in time. And this is going to be kind of nice for me, because like this, I can get some damage onto them, which is great. And I can use a shield, which is even better. And so I can realign, which is even better. So in comes a Swilus. And here's one thing that I made a mistake in this battle, which you're going to see here as well soon. But you gotta get the Night Slash off. They don't use a shield, which is kind of sad. Like, if it was an Ice Punch, it would have been super effective. If they run Swilus, there is basically a 99% chance that they're going to run the Guzzlord in the back at this point. I knew this as well. But I'm going to take the Dark Pulse here onto my Cresselia and swap out into my Darmanitan, hoping that it was not the Guzzlord in the back, but it's very likely to be the Guzzlord. And here I make a mistake. I should have not went for the Rock Slide. Rock Slide is neutral, would be the smarter play, right? Overheat does around like 19% more damage, I think, against the Guzzlord, and those 19% I think are exactly the percent that they're still surviving with. And so if I went ahead and went for the Overheat, I most likely would have been able to one-shot them, even though it would be resisted just based on the damage that I saw here, and I would have been able to win the game. So my fault here, would have won this if I just played it better and if I looked at the calculations prior. This next battle, like, there is not going to be a single battle, of course, or like a single video, where, as you're going to see right now, the opponent goes for my favorite move, Moonblast. We're gonna get an attack drop. It's like literally happening every single time. It is kind of mad, but it is what it is. 10% chance to get the attack drop, of course, we don't get it. And here it actually showcases on how important it was for the opponent to get this attack drop, because I would have two-shot them. No, I don't two-shot them anymore with the Moonblast. That is really unfortunate for us, because we would have been able to force a shield here, but now we don't. And so I try to snipe them with the Darmanitan, does not work out. In comes a Whiscash, and I try to go for the Overheat. This was after the Guzzlord battle, and looked it up and was like, yeah, maybe this would one-shot them. Sadly, they decide to use a shield. Yeah, in hindsight, I should have just went for the Rock Slide, because Rock Slide would have done around 40% as well, I think, against the opponent, which is kind of mad. So here we're still going to be in a tough spot. I'm gonna go into my Annihilate, and I can still reach at least a move very soon. I have to go for a shield here for sure. Scald would do a little bit too much damage in my opinion. And so I decided to go straight for the Night Slash, trying to knock them out. Let's see if this is going to work out for me. It is not, but we can still farm them down. Let's see what is coming in next. It's going to be the Whimsicott, and we can catch the move onto our Cresselia. Is this going to be a Moonblast? It is, and like this, we have now only our Annihilate against the Giratina of the opponent. I think this is the better play to go straight for the Shadow Ball, because I know I would outspeed them. My fear is here that the opponent does too much fast move damage against me, and honestly, fairly certain the opponent would have been able to win the game if they didn't go for that charge move. That charge move saved me because they couldn't go for the extra fast move because of this. One more Shadow Claw would have been enough to knock me out, and so we can win this game, a good game there. If they didn't throw, they would have won. Next opponent, kinda a great lead, but here's the thing. Honestly, if I paid a little bit more attention to this battle, I think there would have been more of a chance for me as well, which you're going to see here later on as well. The opponent is swapping out now into the Cresselia, into their own one, and I guess, never mind, actually, like, this was not really correct by me then. We're gonna see here the Moonblast coming through, totally fine. We can still try to go for another Moonblast. I try to get the attack drop as well, which would be great for me, because it would completely change the matchup as well. But let's see if we can do this. Are we gonna get them already below half health? So basically 2 Grass Nuts most likely would be enough to knock them out. They go for Moonblast, no debuff as well, which is going to be great. I can go for my own Moonblast, which does not really make too much sense. I think Grass Nut might have been enough already. Yeah, Grass Nut would have been enough already, so this was a very silly play by me. But not only this, of course, we're gonna go for a shield, they go for the Moonblast, and we're gonna get another attack drop. And we also lose the Team Pita. I already have not a great Cresselia at all, but they, I guess, have even a worse Cresselia. And so now we're 2 shields down, and basically the game is over. Like, we have the hardest wall to the Vigoroth, but unless there's something in the back that we can complete your story, which we don't have here with the Sableye, which would have been a tricky Pokemon to deal with anyway, even without the debuff and also without losing the CMP tie. Yeah, it is going to be basically impossible to win this game at this point. I think there was a way of me winning, maybe if I swapped out into my own, but I think they had Future Sight anyway, so like, it's okay. We can move on to the next opponent. Here's one cool thing about Cresselia against Dragonair matchup. Your best matchup as a Cresselia is actually the Zero Shield scenario. Why? Because you can take 2 charge moves. Even in Awkward Tail here, Awkward Tail is actually still worse than Body Slam. People, go for Body Slam. Body Slam is the better move to go for. Body Slam is 60 damage, Awkward Tail is 55 damage. People still go for Awkward Tail for whatever reason. It is buffed, but it's still not as great as Body Slam. Here we can still reach another Moonblast. I guess if they win for Body Slam, I might have not been able to reach a second move here. So that's something that is definitely interesting. We get the attack drop here as well, which is great. So we don't have to shield with our Annihilate. And basically, at this point, it's very likely that they're going to have something like a Skarmory in the back, because usually people have this. And even if they have a Lantern in the back, I think my Darmanitan would be fine here winning this game. So, I try to win here with my Darmanitan. They have a Gligar, and of course, they have a Bastion in the back. Like, literally, any other Pokemon I would have been fine with. I would have most likely won against a Whiscash. I would have most likely won against, I don't know, like literally everything other than a Bastion, because Bastion is like one of the only Pokemon that can fast move me down, because there's not really a lot of fast move pressure in the current meta other than Razor Leaf or Charm, which we both would completely destroy. And because we don't have Ice Punch here as well, there's no way of me winning this game, as the Shadow Ball is just not gonna do it, and so we sadly lose because of that Bastion in the back. Honestly, it's kind of unfortunate that this kind of happened like this, because like literally any other Pokemon I think would have been fine in the back, because we had a 2-shield advantage. Like, I know, like the matchup even against a Mudboy would be bad, against a Lantern would be bad, but we still would just need to hit basically 2 Rock Sites and we would have been done there, because Incinerate does so much damage with this Pokemon. But no, we are not going to be able to do that. We can at least take a Body Slam here from the opponent. Hopefully I can still reach another one here, another charge move. Let's see. The opponent goes to another Body Slam. Can we reach another Moonblast? We can, but the opponent swaps into the Skarmory. And now it's showtime for our Darmanitan. Honestly, I should have undercharged that Moonblast to 0 most likely, because maybe I would have gotten extra fast move in, but I think it actually does not matter at all. And so we can get 4 fast moves in, which is great for me. And we will see that the opponent is going to have here in the back the... Oh, again, Dragonair. We can go for a Rock Slide. Rock Slide easily going to one-shot them. So, goodbye there, Dragonair. And the final Pokemon is the Whiscash. And here I'm kind of sad. I decided to go for the safe play and go for the Rock Slide. If I went for the overheat, it would do like around 60% or whatever against the opponent. Like this, we just gonna do 2 Orc Sides. It's going to be kind of great as well. We're going to be able to do a ton of damage still against the opponent, and so they basically gave up at this point. I think we're going to be able to just go into Annihilate, farm them down, and win this game fairly easily. Good game there, nothing they can do. We were just too strong, even in 3 ball flicks while running a Shadow Darmanitan in the Great League, which is kinda mad. Next opponent, let's find this one. We're going to have here the Carbink in the lead. This is going to be a great matchup for us in the lead, as we have the super effective Grass Knot against the opponent, and they are way slower than we are because our fast moves just drain it. I think it generates 2 more energy per turn, which is kind of wild. I think every usage of course, Psycho Cut is giving you 9 energy. Every usage of the Rock Throw is giving you 5 energy, I think. So regenerating so much more energy than the opponent, and we have a super effective charge move. So we are going to be in a very good position here. But the opponent swaps out into a Gligar, which I'm actually okay with. I hope it's like a Shadow Gligar. We haven't seen it yet. It is a normal one. This is actually way worse for me because a Shadow one, I most likely would have been able to just farm down with 4 Incinerates, which would be great. Here, if I want to farm them down, I would need to use 2 shields instead of 1 shield, and so I'm gonna go for a charge move, which is kind of unfortunate, but it is what it is. Rock Slide coming through, going to be able to get the knockout, but if they're gonna go back into, they're actually gonna go into their Pelipper, allowing me to go for another Rock Slide, which, again, if we had like the Shadow Gligar, we would have had 2 Rock Slides now stored most likely against the opponents. Pelipper would have got 2 shields against them. But it is what it is. In comes our Cresselia again. We can still take 1 Wither Ball, which is something that I kind of hope for. Yes, they're gonna go for the Wither Ball, they didn't go for the big move, and so I can go for a Grass Knot, trying to get the final shield from the opponent or get them low. We're gonna get the final shield, and now it's down to the Annihilate. It is a very tough matchup, especially as the opponent has a ton of energy. I have to call the bait here. They decide to go for the Wither Ball bait, which is kind of great. And I know that they still have energy on the Carbink, so I have to overfarm by a little bit. But let's see, they should be out of energy, right? Nope, they are not. They still have another Weather Ball, and so we sadly gonna go down here. Impossible matchup for me to win. The backline was just a hard wall against me. Final battle for today. We're going to have a fairly decent lead for me, I would say. And we're going to be able to go for a Moonblast. That's going to be great here, right? So this is going to be definitely very beneficial for us, especially if we would get the debuff. We don't get the debuff, but we're gonna get a shield, which is already great. For the Darmanitan, having a shield advantage is always kinda nice. So, judging by the damage that the opponent did here, I would imagine they still even survive another Sky attack because they overfarmed by a little bit here, so like the damage that you saw there kinda looks like they would still be able to survive another one and still get to another Moonblast. We have the Moonblast stored, I think I still survive, so let's see here. We gotta survive with 1 HP, can we still get it off? Nope. We cannot. Sometimes you get this move off, sometimes you don't. I don't mind that the opponent knocked me out here. Like, it is kind of... Like, the thing that I kind of mind is that it's inconsistent. Like, either always get the move through or always deny. But it really depends kind of in the current meta, which is kind of sad. So, like, yeah, that's kind of an inconsistency in the game. Sometimes you get the move off, sometimes you don't. But yeah, here we're going to have the Azumarill against us, which is actually kind of fine because we can still reach 2 Shadow Boards, forcing hopefully a shield. And maybe, just maybe, we can sweep them with the Darmanitan. So I decide to stay in here. They decide to go for their own charge move, which is totally fine for me. And what we can do here is we can just stay in, we can just go ahead and get some nice energy with my Darmanitan. And I'm even gonna overfarm by 1 more, and this was a mistake. If I went straight for my charge move here, I think it would have been fine, because now they get 2 bubble damage in, which is super effective against me. And as we're gonna see in the back, the opponent going to have the Medicham, and we just barely missed out of the overheat. I'm fairly certain we would have been able to one-shot them with the overheat. It would have been definitely a little bit close, but yeah, it is what it is. Hopefully you still enjoyed this showcase. If you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.